All right, let's get into it. Today, we're going to trace the absolutely incredible journey of the computer. We're going from a mechanical dream cooked up in the 19th century, all the way to the little device that's, yeah, probably in your pocket right now. We're going to start right here with something we all know so well, the modern smartphone. I mean, think about it. It's your camera, your navigator, your way to talk to anyone. It's a doorway to literally all of human knowledge. It's the ultimate personal computer. You know, it feels so advanced, so futuristic, that it's easy to assume it's a pretty recent invention. But here's the thing. The core ideas that make this little gadget tick, they are way, way older than you'd probably guess. To find the real origin story, we have to go back in time, a long way back. No, you heard that right. The conceptual grandparent of your iPhone wasn't electric at all. It was this crazy complex machine made of gears and levers, dreamed up right in the middle of the Industrial Revolution. Okay, so let's dive into this mechanical dream and the, honestly, visionary inventor who was behind the whole thing. So, back in the 1830s, a man named Charles Babbage designed this thing, the analytical engine. Now, it was never actually finished in his lifetime, but the design itself was just revolutionary. See, it wasn't a simple calculator built for just one job. It was designed to be programmed to do any job. And what's just mind-blowing is how modern this all feels. Babbage imagined using punched cards to feed it instructions, giving the machine the power to make decisions, what we call branching, and even to repeat operations in loops. These are the absolute fundamentals of software, and they were first written down by Ada Lovelace, who we now see as, rightly, the world's very first computer programmer. So Babbage's mechanical dream, it stayed a dream on paper for about 100 years. The next huge leap forward needed a whole new technology, electricity. And the result? Well, it was giant. So fast forward over a century to 1945. This is ENIAC, the world's first large-scale, all-purpose electronic computer. It was a massive project spurred by the war, and it proved digital computing could work, but its size was something else, almost impossible to imagine today. Just to give you an idea of how big this thing was, ENIAC weighed 27 tons. That's like parking 4 huge elephants in a room. And it was so enormous, it took up an entire room, 1,800 square feet of it. You didn't just have a computer on your desk, you literally walked around inside of it. And the power? Get this, 150 kilowatts. That's enough to run a small town. They used to say that every time they switched it on, the lights in Philadelphia would actually dim. Now, ENIAC was an absolute marvel, but it had one giant flaw. If you wanted to change its program, you had to physically get in there and rewire it. So the next big breakthrough, it wasn't about hardware at all. It was a single, beautiful idea that now defines every single computer we use. And this is where the genius of John von Neumann steps in. He basically said, hey, what if the instructions, the program, could be stored in the exact same memory as the data it's working on? This one idea meant you could change what a computer does just by changing its software, not by yanking out and plugging in wires. This was the moment. This is when hardware and software were split apart forever. And this concept, the von Neumann architecture, it became the blueprint for, every computer that followed, from giant mainframes all the way down to your smartwatch. So this architecture gives us the 4 basic parts of any computer today. A good way to think about it is like a kitchen. You've got your memory, that's your cookbook and all your ingredients stored together. You've got your I/O system, that's how you take an order and serve the final dish. You have the ALU, that's the chef doing all the hard work, the chopping and mixing. And then you have the control unit, who's like the head chef, telling everyone what to do and when. All right, so with that blueprint in hand, the next big challenge was obvious, making it smaller, a lot smaller. And that's where the microprocessor comes in. It put the power of that room-sized machine onto a single tiny chip, and that's what kicked off the personal computer revolution. So when the very first IBM PC came out in 1981, it made this really interesting trade-off. It used a chip called the Intel 8088. Now, this chip was almost the same as the faster, more powerful 8086, but it used a narrower 8-bit connection to talk to everything else. Yeah, it made it slower, but, and this is the important part, it made the whole computer so much cheaper. It put it within reach for regular people.
And from there, wow, things moved fast. Just a few years later, the 8286 chip showed up and brought multitasking with it. And then, bam, in 1985, the 8386 changed the whole game by moving to a 32-bit architecture. That became the standard that would totally dominate computing for the next 20 years.
And that, right there, brings us all the way back to where we started. Every single thread of this story, the mechanical dream, the electronic giant, that brilliant blueprint, the tiny microprocessor, it all comes together in this one device. Because in 2007, the iPhone appeared, and it took the idea of a computer, a music player, and a phone, and fused them all into one product with a screen that you could just touch. It was a revolution. And what a difference from ENIAC, right? Instead of a 27-ton machine that filled a whole building, you had a supercomputer that was less than half an inch thick. The scale of that leap is just, it's staggering to think about. So next time you pick up your phone, just think about the history packed inside it. Every single time you open an app, you're using von Neumann's stored program concept. Its super fast processor, it's standing on the shoulders of that 32-bit revolution started by the 8386. And the very idea of it, a single programmable device that can do almost anything you want, that is Charles Babbage's mechanical dream from 200 years ago, made real. The journey from the analytical engine to the iPhone, it's really a story of shrinking things down relentlessly. We've gone from the size of a room to the size of a pocket, all within a single human lifetime. It really makes you stop and wonder, what's the next fundamental shift going to be? What's the next chapter?